Hello and welcome back to the Sandbox tutorial. In today's episode, we're going to be covering doors and windows. Now, if you'll remember, if you played the base game, you will notice that, especially if you sell a door or a window, the developers were very kind and left a hole that was created in the wall for you, so that way you know what kind of size and dimensions you needed for your window replacement or your door replacement. And that tends to work for reality's sake when it comes to doors and windows in real life. But in Sandbox, we're not dealing so much with reality when it comes to actually building. So we don't necessarily need to carve out a hole for a door or a window. You can if you want to, but totally up to you and how you want to play. So with doors, you have some different options. We have interior doors, exterior doors, big doors, and small doors. I highly recommend you experiment out with the different types of doors. Again, totally up to you and what you need or how you want to use things. Yeah, all about how you want to play. I will say this, when it comes to doors, you can use exterior doors on the interior. You can use interior doors on the exterior. It does not matter. You can use them wherever you want. House Flipper 1, they had restrictions on some of the doors. House Flipper 2 has no restrictions. For your basic outdoor door, they tend to be 6 blocks wide and 10 blocks tall. So every door in the game is 6 foot 8 inches or 10 blocks tall. If you hit tab to come into the store, you have an option under the building section called doors. And then you have a breakdown here in the store, which annotates the types of doors. If you click on exterior doors, you have different types of doors. Not too many. And again, I know a lot of people wish we had more. That's okay. As you notice, it is 6 blocks wide, 10 blocks tall, and our perfect door. Some of these doors are a little bit wider. You don't necessarily, as I mentioned earlier, you don't necessarily need to put a hole in the wall to put a door down, so you can just put a door down. You'll notice this one here is 8 blocks across, nice even number. Whereas the double sliding door, we put this one down, and this one is 10 blocks across. And then we have interior doors. And these tend to be 5 blocks wide. So if I put this down and show you the blocks, I think it's 5 blocks. Then they have some bigger interior doors like this one here. And this one is 9 blocks across, so a 6 foot wide door. Now you can do different things with your houses. Just removing these to create different effects. I do like these double curiosity kind of doors. I think they look pretty cool. But you can also take one of these exterior doors, which is the balcony door, and you can rotate it so you notice how it's set in here. We can place 2 of these down, and then you can go to your architect tool and change style. And when you click on the door, you can change the door handle. So I'm going to move from left to right. And then we could put in the mutton bars. We could style them. Change that to a matte. There we go. And now you got fairly decent looking French doors. I'm going to go ahead and remove these. How you do your door will determine how the doors open. So you'll notice here when I first place this one, it opens out to me. You can take it and use your middle mouse button to rotate them. And now they will open inward. Doors do not open both ways in this game, so you'll need to pick and choose how your doors are going to open when you're placing them. And then, as I showed you earlier with the change style, you have a lot of different options for handling different things, from handles, even handles that have locks on them. When you choose locks, you'll have options to change not only the door handle material, but also the door handle lock material. And then traditionally, you'll have the base A, which is the frame, and then the base B, which is the actual door itself. So you could... or this one's reversed, so this is base B is the outer. Every one of these is slightly different. There's no consistency on these. We can make a nice bright red door. Put a steel door handle in there. Make a nice striking door for our front door and entrance. There are garage doors in this game, as well as door frames. So you have 3 sizes of door frames. You have your 5 widths, and then you have this one is, I believe, 8. Yep, your 8 width. And then the last door frame is, I believe, your 10 or 9. So you have a 9 width. So 6, 8, and 9 width frames. Again, as I mentioned earlier, frames you'll typically find on the interior, but you can put them on the exterior too. The game allows you to do whatever you want. Alright, so covering windows really depends on, you know, what kind of window you want. You know, you could always carve a hole in it. You could try to keep it even with the doors or make them slightly taller. You can get your floor to ceiling windows. It really depends on how you want to play, but there are 3 basic kind of windows. You have the first one, which is the casement window. So if you're facing a wall, regardless of whether you're inside or outside, it will place it like you're looking inside out. Meaning, if I try to place a window here, you'll notice how it looks like I'm looking from the inside out. The window is on the other side. You can just use your middle mouse button to rotate it and get it to face the right way, which is technically this way. These windows have a little handle on them, but they open in. And so if you pick a really big window, that might hurt. I don't really use casement windows as a result. Just because it's hard to plan to get that that window to swing open the right way. You do have some other options in the casement windows, like some rounded edges or even the triangle shapes. So you can make a nice design as you're building. And these open too, but again, they open inward, which makes planning spaces really tough. The second one is picture windows. Picture windows do not open, but we do have some rounded windows as well as options. We have these nice big huge windows that you could treat as floor to ceiling. As you can see, they're 5x10, exact same size as a door. You have a bunch of different options for all your windows, shutters, windowsill, mutton bars. If I try to place this on the ground, it's actually going to let me. Sometimes it doesn't let you with the windowsill, so sometimes you need to turn the windowsill off before you place. There you go. Nice big windows, and they do not open. Picture windows do not open. But again, you get some really cool options, like with the round window. That is absolutely awesome. And the last type of window are the single hung windows. These windows only come in squares and rectangles. You can take these and place them, and they do open. Especially great for apartments. Actually recently had a time where if I turn the button bars off, you can actually take it, if you're patient enough, and use the transform move tool to do rotating of windows. Oh, come on. Sorry, my mouse is not wanting to respond. There we go. And when you do this, you can get it to snap like this, and now you got a window that actually opens like that. As opposed to up and down, you can get it to go sideways. Neat little tricks. Get all the different window effects that you want. But again, casement windows open inward. Picture windows don't open at all, but they do give you rounded edges. And the single hung windows, they only give you the option to open vertically, but you can rotate it to get it to open sideways. And they only come in squares and rectangles. The last type of window is actually in the architectural elements, and if you go into other, you have a glass wall, part of the Jungfrau series. When you're dealing with this, you'll notice how it's not snapping, and that's because if you look down the bottom right, it says precise placement. If you hit R, it moves into snap to grid. And so we literally could place this. It gives us immediately the options to resize. We could click and drag and make like a full wall window. Not very structurally sound, but you could do it. You could also take this and I'm just gonna make this a little bit smaller. There we go. And you could copy it. So by looking at it, you get Q to duplicate. And we can duplicate it like that. Yeah. There we go. Nice big windows. However way you want to do it. So it's a little bit about doors and windows. Really depends on what you're building and how you're building stuff, but windows give you a lot of different options, from the casement to the single hung to the picture windows to our glass walls, and then our doors with the door frames, interior doors and exterior doors. So with that, that's where I'm going to leave you. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks.